Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Your Info. In this video, I will cover SQL commands related to database, schema, table, and record insertion. Let's begin with the definition of database. A database is an organized collection of structured information or data, typically stored electronically in computer system. A database is usually controlled by Database Management System, also known as DBMS. Part 1. How to create a database. So in order to create a database, we need to write down a command create database and then database name. So in my case, I'm going to create a YouTube database. So let's run this command. Command has been completed successfully, so the data has been created. So now the question comes into mind how to list all the databases that has been already in there. And for that, let's write down a command. Select a name. So that would be our database name, database ID, and then create date from sys dot databases. Let's run this command. So we just created a YouTube databases. You can see it's at the last place and the creation date is, so this is the date I am recording a video. So the database has been created. And now how to drop a database. So in order to drop a database, we will use a drop command. Drop database and then database name. What database is need to be dropped. Okay. So the database has been successfully dropped. Let's confirm by using this select command. We can't see the 14th entry over here. But for the part 2, we need a database. So I will just run this create database command again. Okay, now we have our database. And then how to, in the part 2, how to create a schema. So in order to create a schema, we need to use a create schema command. It is similar to the database, but instead of database, the schema would be used. Create schema and the schema name. So I'm going to use learning as schema name. Let me run this command. The command has been completed successfully. So that means schema has been created. Now I want to have a look all the schemas that has been already been there in the database. Select star from sys dot schemas. Okay, the schema has been appeared over here. Schema ID is 5th, and let's drop a schema that we just created. Drop schema, schema name, learning is schema name, and run the command. The schema has been successfully dropped. Let's confirm by running the select star from sys.schema command. Okay, we can't see the entry here. Let's create the schema again because we are going to create a table and we will create that table under learning schema. All right. let's create a table. So for that, we will use create table, and then we need to write down a table name. But before that, we also need to refer what database or schema we are creating that specific table. So in my case, the database name is YouTube, schema name is learning, and table name is employee. And opening parentheses, and then let's add some columns name. Let's start with the employee ID. It's an integer column, and I would like it to be identity column, means that I don't need to insert the value, so the value would be automatically inserted. For example, 1, 2, 3 based on the number of record we are inserting. And I want it not to be null, means there should be always a value. And let's see, going further for the second column, first name, and its data type is varchar 250, and I also want it not to be null. And then last name varchar 250 not null. And then fourth column, gender, and I would like to have its data type character, one character, and also it not to be null. And last but not least, email address varchar 100, and this could be null. So that means when we will insert a entry, so we can insert a null entry for this email address column, so it is not required. And I want to have like a primary key as emp id, that means it will always be a unique value. And closing parenthesis. The schema name learning either does not exist or you don't have permission. I know why it happened, because we are currently using the master database. So in the master database, the learning schema was created, but let me drop that schema and use another command that will allow us to use the YouTube database. So let me write down that command, use YouTube go. Okay, now you just see that it has been moved to YouTube. And let me create a schema again in that database. Okay, now we are good. Let me run just this command to create a table. Okay, the table has been created successfully. And let's see, list all the tables that are in this database. Select star from information underscore schema dot tables. So it should list all the tables. Okay, so we just created a table employee. So let me just expand a little bit. Table catalog, our database, YouTube, schema that we just created, learning under the YouTube catalog, and table name employee that we just created. And now how to create a drop a table. Let's see. Same, almost similar command, drop table and then whole name, database, schema, table name. Okay, and let's confirm with running this query. Okay, we don't see any entry here. But for further example, we need this table. So let me just create it again. Okay, let me just confirm once again. Okay, we have an employee table there. Part 4, how to insert a record into a table. So there are two ways that you can use to insert the record into the table. Let me insertion with the first method, insert, and then you can copy and paste over here, database, schema, table name, and then opening parentheses. You can write down the number of columns. So employee ID, so it's an identity column, so it is not required over here. So we will begin with the first name, last name, gender, email, address. Okay, and I will close that parenthesis. Values, what are the values for these fields? Values, so it's a varchar, so I am going to use this quotation mark, Sam Smith, gender male, email address, let's say imp122@123.com. Okay, let me run this command. Okay, one row has been affected. So let's see how the record looks like in the table. Select star from a YouTube learning employee. Let me run this query. Okay, we can see the imp ID, so that was identity column, so it was automatically populated. The first name, last name, gender, and email address was populated. So you can see that these fields are not null. So that means these ones. So that means there must be a value for these fields, but this could be kept as null. So in order to show me that, so I'm going to use a second method to insert the record, right? So instead of giving the individual column names over here, so I'll remove these column names and will insert the record using straight values. Jan Smith, female. So let me just that as a null and run this query. Okay, let's see. Okay, the second record has been inserted and this emp ID has been populated automatically from the system. Jan Smith female, and this record is null. But if we try to insert null value with the other columns that are not null, so it will throw us an error. So let's see. Cannot insert the null value into column gender table. Column does not allow nulls because when we were created this table, in the definition we defines that there should always be a value over here. So it won't allow us to create. Okay, now we have inserted the record, right? Let's see how to delete a record. So for that, delete command would be used. Delete from table. This is the table where I'm going to use a where condition, and let me run a select query here. I want to delete a record first, so I am going to use emp id equal to 1. So first it will look into these emp IDs, right? And emp ID is 1, so it will match to the first record and then delete this record. Okay, and let's confirm how many records do we have. It is running, it shouldn't take that long. Let me stop it and run it again. Okay, it's canceling the query. Okay, so as you can see, the first record has been removed using the where condition where we have used, right? In the same manner, you can use any column name and put the value over here and can remove the records. Alright, thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.